It was a Saturday like any other in Coeur, Idaho. The skies above Canfield Mountain were clear, the air warm with the scent of summer. Around 1 p.m., smoke began to rise thin at first, then thick enough to draw attention. A brush fire had broken out on the hiking trails, a common occurrence during the dry months. Local fire crews responded quickly. 3 firefighters were dispatched without hesitation. They had no reason to suspect anything more than an ordinary blaze. They were trained for this. They were prepared, or so they thought. As they made their way toward the flames, something felt off. The trail was too quiet. There were no hikers fleeing, no one carrying the fire out of control. Just the fire ran, then suddenly, a sharp, cracking sound that cut through the silence. Gunshots. 1 firefighter fell, then another. The third tried to radio for help but was hit before he could finish the call. Within seconds, 2 were dead. 1 lay wounded. The call for backup triggered a massive response. Law enforcement swarmed the area. Helicopters thundered overhead. Drones scanned the canopy. Over 300 officers joined the manhunt, but the shooter had already vanished, slipping into the trees like a ghost. Hours later, a body was found still, cold, and armed. The shooter was dead. A rifle lay nearby. It was Wess Roley, a 20-year-old from the area. He wasn't a stranger to fire. He had worked in tree services. He'd expressed interest in emergency response. In fact, Wess had once dreamed of becoming a firefighter himself. But now, he was the suspect in one of the most shocking ambushes Idaho had ever seen. Investigators soon pieced together the horror. The fire had been intentionally set. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't nature. It was bait. Wess had lit the blaze himself to lure the firefighters in. There was no manifesto, no clear motive, no signs of radicalization, nothing to explain why a young man with no criminal record would carry out such a deadly, targeted attack. Was he rejected from the fire service? Was he mentally unraveling? Was this some twisted revenge? Nobody knows. The town of Coeur was left shaken. Families mourned. Colleagues wept. The governor lowered flags to half-staff. And across the country, people asked how something like this could happen. Because Wess Roley didn't just set a fire in the woods. He set a trap. And when the responders came running to save lives, he took theirs instead. In the end, there were no answers left in the ashes. Just questions. And a silence that burned deeper than the flames ever could.